WrestleMania Backlash took over Providence, Rhode Island, and presented some show-stealing moments and matches. Backlash is seen as a filler premium live event following WWE's biggest event of the year, but there were some interesting swerves on tonight's show, and many storylines have now been pushed forward. Whilst there are some moments that the WWE roster will want to remember about WrestleMania Backlash, there are also some they would rather forget. The following list just looks at a handful of botches you probably missed as part of the show. Number 5. MVP can't get his mic to work on the kickoff show. The botches began early at WrestleMania Backlash with MVP joining the kickoff panel as part of the pre-show. The manager of Omos joined the panel to give his thoughts on the match between his client and Bobby Lashley, but before he was able to share, there was an issue with his mic. MVP noted that he was nervous several times before it was clear that he couldn't be heard and that his mic wasn't on. It took a few moments to fix before he was then able to step into character and build up one of the night's forgotten matches.
We're over here by MVP. Feeling good about tonight?
MVP, you alright?
Can you hear me?
It appears that MVP wasn't know that the show was live from the moment he came onto the panel and wasn't handed a headset so that he could listen to the other stars on the show. Number 4. WWE forgets to turn on the announcer's mic at WrestleMania Backlash. It appears that WWE had some issues with their microphones throughout the show, since there was another issue a few hours later, when Samantha looked to announce the women's I Quit match. When the cameras came back out to the ring, the mic only picked up the end of her announcement, as it was clear that the mic wasn't turned on in time. Samantha took it in her stride and continued as if there were no issues. But it meant that the WWE Universe, that was live in attendance, missed much of the announcement before the match. Number 3. Cody Rhodes forgets the rules of Money in the Bank at WrestleMania Backlash. Cody Rhodes was the star who was on hand to announce that WWE will present Money in the Bank from the Allegiant Stadium on July 4th. While it was an impressive video package, it appears that the company has failed to double-check it since Rhodes announced that the winner of the match would go on to main event WrestleMania.
Chance to main event WrestleMania.
Given the timing of Money in the Bank, even if this was a change of rules, it's unlikely that WWE would allow the winner to hold the case until the biggest show of the year. It would also mean that the Royal Rumble would be surplus to requirements, so it's likely that Rhodes got it wrong and WWE failed to check. Number 2. The women's I Quit match at WrestleMania Backlash was full of awkward moments. Ronda Rousey and Charlotte Flair collided in an I Quit match at WrestleMania Backlash, which saw the Queen forced to utter the most humiliating words in the wrestling business when she was locked in a chair-assisted armbar. The match was full of sloppy and awkward moments as Rousey failed to lock in several submissions as the two women quickly pushed through move after move. While there were some memorable moments, including a throwback to Sasha Banks and Charlotte Flair's 2015 feud, there were a lot of chemistry issues between the two women and several botches from Rousey. Number 1. Michael Cole had some interesting botches throughout the night. The job of a commentator can be a tough one. Michael Cole has to think on the spot, remember names and moves, and can often trip over his words. WrestleMania Backlash was no different, with Cole once again being part of some hilarious botches. One of the biggest ones came as part of Charlotte Flair's match against Ronda Rousey, when he shouted that Flair had thrown a camera at herself. It appears that he forgot that Rousey was the recipient as seen in the video.